Can you see that the dawn's early light was so proudly we had the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes had bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and riding with the monsters gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hey, good evening. How we doing, Mike?
We're doing good. Welcome to GunsInThe701.com.
Yeah, absolutely. We are here live and in color. I guess we could go black and white, but then
We could.
in racist.
Then we could do it. Then we could do it in the old timey voice. You know.
Old-timey
And
voice.
now, time for the news.
There we go. There we go. And then
Thank you very much. I'm here all week.
we got to get your board hooked up. You know that, right?
I know. I got it sitting right here. I'm ready for you.
I got to get to Mitchell. Is that what you're saying?
No. We got video. We can do it.
All right. Hey, it is December 4th on 2024. We're getting close, as everybody knows, and we have announced this, that we are not going to be doing a show on the 25th or the 1st. That's Christmas Day, and of course that's New Year's Day. So we won't be doing. We might try to play something. Maybe we'll be able to put something together and just have it play. I don't know. But so we got the 11th and the 18th left. Just so everybody knows, the 18th will be the last live show for 2024. Hey, Trampus, good evening. Jamie's on. All right, good to see you. Numbers are just. I'm kind of killing time here, letting the numbers build. Eric, good to see you. We'll see Eric tomorrow. So,
Josh, thank you very much.
yes, Josh, good to have you on too. I can tell you this: my son turns 18 tomorrow, and it's.
Oh, geez.
I mean, I'm proud of him. I'm so proud of him, but it's bittersweet. 18 already. I can't believe it, man. You remember when he was little?
Oh yeah, I remember when mine was little and yours was little, and they were all running around. Yeah,
amazing. But I look at it like this: when we do the next hog hunt, I believe Jack wants to go. I know my boys want to go.
Jack's chomping at the bits. Yeah, we got to save up the money because he's a definite want to go.
And I believe Eric's going to take. I don't know if I don't think he's taking all 5, but I know he's planning to probably take maybe Gunner. I don't know, Eric. You have to let me know. Maybe Prairie, because I know Sarah doesn't really hunt them. So we're going to try to make that next hog hunt is probably going to be one where we take our kids. We may not make that a Rax adventure team. I don't think it'll be one that we do separate and go down on. And I'm good with that. That way we can get the kids out there with us. So I'm looking forward to that. And Mr. Hawk is all for it. I've visited with him about it already. Hey, Dan, good to see you. Dickinson, North Dakota. I don't know if they got snow over there. We didn't get much. Did you get anything?
Oh, down here? Well, we got a dusting. We've got a dusting so far, but we've got 50-mile-an-hour winds right now. It's kind of making a mess out of everything. But to go on to what you're saying is that when your kid was little and my kid was little, I never knew that I'd be looking at that boy like that, Yeah, got to thank you for letting us come up and hunt in your area, by the way.
No problem. I just winterized that place today. Hey, you did put the picture up. There's Jack. That's a nice buck.
8x6. and it's got those little rings on it, and we kind of cool. But yeah, that's a very impressive buck for him, and that's his first buck tag that he's ever had. So he's
Are you
shot
gonna have
mine.
that mounted?
Yeah, we're gonna put it back here somewhere.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
maybe over
here.
here.
You have to put that picture back up there once.
Oh yeah, got it right down here. Hold on a second.
So is that a split brow tine on that one side, on his left-hand side? Well,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's got some little stickers on there. Yeah, that's a nice, cool looking buck. And of course, I believe that is America's rifle, right?
That is America's rifle. As a matter of fact, it's let me knock this down here real quick.
Yeah.
It's right back over here, as a matter of fact, and on my new little Timu edition that I've got for the wall mount.
Yeah, so, I love it. I might have to do some remodeling down here and get a few of them.
they're cheap as all get out. So yeah, they work out pretty well. You just put them in the wall. They got the magazine sitting right up on the top piece right there too. Awesome. So ready to go.
Hey, we got Josh Patterson says my oldest turned 18 and graduated this past spring. He says it's crazy how fast time flies. Absolutely, my son will be graduating this spring, and you know what? I'm still human, and I know there are going to be a few tears of joy shed. I know how I'm going to be, because it's going to be bittersweet, and I'm very proud of that boy. He's done so much. He gets great grades, always A's, maybe a B here and there, but I mean, I can't say enough about him. He's not a clone of me. That's okay. But and then Leighton turned 15, so I mean he's next. He's coming up next, and it's going fast. But Eric says no, I can't afford to take all the kids. So there you go. David Fetting, so much for cheap ranch labor. Yeah, he's going to start demanding a real wage then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jamie says, don't forget the Kyle Rifle Steel Challenge. Will be December 15th at 11 a.m. The Axel Hondo Range. I'll have a promo and info in the next couple days. That's right. There we go. We got that coming up, and it's not the Kyle Rifle. It's the Coyote. I'm just going to say that, too. That's what Doug said. But hey, we can call it that. We can, in the support, I guess, we can have the Coyote Rittenhouse Coyote Steel Challenge, whatever you want to call it. But anyway,
whatever you want to call it.
I am not going to be able to make that, unfortunately. I was really hoping that I could. I was planning to go to it. I am not going to be able to make this one either. Believe it or not, I'm in our Christmas church choir, so our practice is after church that day. And
me. You gotta work on your voice there a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of am a baritone monotone, so I sing
baritone monotone.
There you go. Yeah. So that's how. Otherwise, I'd be going, but I enjoy doing that. I think too, either that day or the next. I don't know. I got to ask our pastor, but it's one of those days that we also go caroling around town. So yeah, I know but I like being an active member of the church, and that's what we do. So
I got a good laugh out of I actually played this morning Larry the Cable Guy on the radio station talking about people caroling. He says, I don't even like my neighbors enough. Why are they singing at me? He says, just the other day they were yelling at each other. They were yelling at each other because the one of them doesn't like Bud Light and the other one does. And now they're out here singing in front of my house. So kick out of that.
Hey, David, he chimed also in over on Rumble. There's a few others over there. So hey, thanks for tuning in over on Rumble, everybody. So I didn't look, and I know Jamie told me the date one time, but it's coming up in December when we are our new page, our new Facebook page, GAT701. So it's easy to find.
Right.
We will be able to go live on there finally after that date, but it's like the 22nd or 3rd. We probably won't. So just expect us that coming back in January for that first show, we should be live there. So with that in mind, I want to tell everybody, if you're on our other backup one, which is Sturm Guns and the 701, we had to do something quick. Please move over to that GAT701, especially then, because we will probably discontinue live broadcasting on that one. We only did that temporarily while we were building a new page. So just so everyone knows that, start migrating over to GAT701 on Fascist-book, because that's where we're going to be. after we are allowed to go live again.
Plus, we have a little problem with X right now. So if you're not already friended us up on X, or if you're like following us on X, follow us on that as well, so you can always find it, because they're limited us to be able to be found.
Well, when I went on there, it just looked like that one comment, Mike. So
Yeah.
not the actual profile itself, but still go over there. And it's really clear. If you're not watching over there at all, go give it a whirl, because it's very clear on X. I mean, you're talking top quality, high def over there. So Twitch is that way too. Not that anybody's on Twitch much. Let me look.
We got two people
on
watch
Twitch.
us on
All
Twitch.
right, thank you, whoever you are. But yeah, that's great to see that. Yeah, I'm kind of just looking at the numbers now. So yeah, good to see everybody. Looks like it's still YouTube. It's CommieTube and X. That's our top two all the time.
Yeah.
And Rumble's doing pretty good. It's been up and down, but Rumble's pretty decent as well. They are about I think there's about a 2-minute delay from, on this side versus going over to Rumble.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Enough of that.
News. We got news to talk about.
News. I tell you what, we've been BSing and doing that. Let's take one quick break so we can get that, and thank our two top sponsors, because Lauer Auto's been with us since day one, and we appreciate it. So let's go ahead and thank them, and then we'll be right back, and we'll get this baby rolling with some pretty top news that happened today. So we'll see here.
We'll be right back.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Foundation.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701, and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we are back. Hey, Gene Cox, good evening. Glad to have you with us. And Brian Warner, great to have you along on our 120th episode. Wow.
That's right. Already 120.
And our first episode of December 2024. And we only got 2 left for the end of the year. And then we'll see you guys after the first year, that first Wednesday after New Year's Day. So anyway. All right, so we got to discuss this, because I've seen, oh my God, the stories I've seen, Mike. I'm sure you have too, especially being with what you do.
Well, I caught on to it pretty early, and I caught on to the subtle things that they were pushing it towards today. So go ahead and talk about it.
Everybody hasn't heard, there was a shooting in New York City. Wait a second.
What?
Mike, that's impossible. They got some.
That's the safest city in the world.
Yeah. Anyway, we had a shooting, and it resulted in the murder of the CEO of United Healthcare Systems. Now, I forget the name off the top of my head now. I had it here. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, he actually lived in Minnetonka, or I think it was Maple Grove or somewhere there, Minnesota. But the company's based out of Minnetonka, Minnesota, so Twin Cities area.
Right.
And the guy walked up, really unnoticed, looking at the video footage from around the area. Patiently waited, stepped around, and just shot this guy. So there's so much to break down on. There's all kinds of speculation out there. I'm not going to go with a whole lot of that, but the thing that bothered me most is what you pointed out, and tell them what you pointed out, because I thought it was a great point.
So right off the bat, like MSNBC and a few other of the networks, the left-leaning networks, were pushing the fact that he used a silencer, a suppressor, on his pistol, and of course, that is what they were covering. They forget the guy was shot, forget all that. This guy walks among us and he has a suppressor on him. Suppressor. And then that was the key word. They kept saying suppressor. So obviously it's funny that we were talking is that they're getting ready to bring up legislation for the Hearing Protection Act. Is that the proper name for it?
Well, I don't know if that's what it's going to be called this time, but it has been, it's been referred to that before. We've seen it before. The first time Trump was in, it was brought up. And unfortunately, we had Ryan O'Ryan, Paul Ryan. He's the one that actually fought it in the House side. And then, of course, McConnell did in the Senate. I mean, two people that supposedly support Mr. Trump, right? Which they didn't back then at all. But I can tell you right now that that is the talk. It's already being discussed to bring it up in the next Congress, which will, take place after the first of the year. Then they'll take their oath of office and they will be the next Congress in session. I would love to see it, but if you don't know what it is, it's to eliminate the $200 tax stamp and eliminate the classification from the National Firearms Act. Essentially, it will no longer be an NFA item, which it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't. Right. And it's just a piece of metal that suppresses sound, and it isn't like the movies. But I think it's ironic that every time something like this happens, all of a sudden we have an incident like we saw today. I mean, I can't even remember, and maybe I know Jamie's probably still listening. Anybody, when was the last time any of you heard about a suppressor being involved in something like this?
Only on TV shows. Only on TV shows.
I do believe that the moron in Las Vegas had some on those ARs, but I don't remember, which, by the way, we still don't know what happened there. We don't know who did it. It just vanished. Think about that. Vanished. Nothing about it. But I'm sure they've been used, but you never hear much about a suppressor being used in a crime, especially like this. Now, there's speculation. I was watching another program. They got some points. Was it a professional hit? Could have been.
Looked like it.
The little bit of video I watched, this guy looked calm and collected, and nothing bothered him. The people around him didn't bother him there. It was like he had a job. He did his job. He left on one of these e-bikes and disappeared.
And collected his shells before he left.
Collected his casings before he left. I mean, most of the time, crazy people don't do that.
Crazy people don't do that.
Then there's all, like I said, I'd hate going down the speculation road, but there's talk that this guy was involved with something and had made a deal with the feds to basically be a witness. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It would make sense as to why someone would want to kill him. And I don't know if he had security around him. I don't know if he felt he needed it. He'd had many, many threats, but he's the CEO of pretty much the biggest healthcare system that provides, quote, insurance in the United States. So I imagine there was some people that hated this man for different reasons.
And I'm sure he wasn't like the Salvation Army not taking a pay either. So, I mean,
yeah, exactly. So JD, like the gangsters in the 20s and the 30s, kind of. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, the guy's just waiting there and he knew he was going to be there. It seemed like. We will find out. The first thing they got to do is find the guy. As of now, I was just watching that before we come live. Nothing. No, they got nothing. If they have, they haven't said anything. So who knows? I really don't know what's going to got. But the thing that bothered me the most was how the outlets like PMSNBC and then what I would call the leftist news media, they were making a big deal about the suppressor. It was like they got their talking point. Boom, that's what they went with. Now, the things I watched, really, it wasn't even mentioned. The things that I seen, that they weren't speculating hard. They wanted more facts. They were just reporting what they knew when they knew it, when it was reported to them.
Right.
And of course, they were actually like on Real America's Voice or Right Side Broadcasting, the ones that actually are not crazy. They were sending prayers to the family. It's a tragic thing, especially coming here right before Christmas and right after Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I would say my prayers are with that family too. I don't know the guy's background, don't know who he is, but it's just horrible. Remember, he was a father, a husband, had 2 young boys, teenage boys. He definitely was, someone's son, and now he's dead because somebody shot him, and we don't know the reason. So we'll find out. I hope.
Yeah, there's no manifesto on this one. You notice that?
No.
There's none of that stuff going on here. And
not going to be one either. I do believe that these guys I was listening to from Studio 6B, them guys are from New York, and they're pretty dead on stuff. And the one on there is like, I think it was a pro. I think it was a professional hit.
Look like it.
Happens all the time here in New York, still to this day. And he goes, I have no doubt that that's what it was. He goes, why? I don't know. But he goes, I hate to tell you guys, but for between $2,000 and $5,000, he said, you can probably get the job hired out. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
And he's probably not wrong. I don't know. I know nothing about that, but all I can tell you is that it did not help us out. And the whole suppressor thing, the way they're running with it, I hope that, being MSNBC's numbers are in the tank. Hopefully nobody's listening anymore anyway.
Well,
let
me go ahead and tell you real quick. So when I was up hunting up in Corson County here just a couple weeks ago, we were up there, and one of the ranch hands that on the lands what we were doing. So it got dark. We had the lights out and everything after we had harvested a deer, and we're dressing him and everything like that. And then all of a sudden we hear this ping, and what it was is it sounded like a 22 out there somewhere in this little box canyon we were in. But,
Really?
it's not like a 22. Well, what was it? 22 250. But, he's got a suppressor on it, and he was taking out a coyote down the way that was checking us out. So, it's fine. And it's just what he does. I mean, that's part of his ranch hand duties is to take those things out, and he loves doing it. And so, yeah, not silent. It's not like the movies. It's not like the TV shows. It's not like that at all. It drops the volume down substantially so that you don't have that ear damage. And I'll tell you what, I love the concept of that.
Absolutely.
I mean,
well, then let's face it. You go to other countries, even Europe, Africa, all these countries who have pretty tough restrictions on firearms as a whole. Guess what? You can buy suppressors from anybody. They're on the shelf. Anybody can buy one because they consider it a safety item for your hearing. And to me, that is how they should be. Eric Newman, I like that one, huh? Yeah, Eric, he says, dang, suppressor's no good without the gun, and the gun is no good without a person to squeeze the trigger, so it all goes back to the bonehead behind the gun. Absolutely.
Yep.
Suppressor is even more insignificant as far as danger to me than it is the gun. Because the suppressor is literally a chunk of metal that's been machined and has a baffle, whatever the inside, they're all different. But it's made to suppress sound, not make it quiet, not make it invisible. But yeah, I can tell you right now, I've shot a lot through my suppressor. I know Jamie and Axe all have. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you do. It is not completely silent. If you shoot a 22, yeah, it's more like it's louder than that. It makes a sound. You start shooting your bigger calibers and there's still a sound, but it makes it so that it doesn't damage your hearing. Most of the time you don't even have to have hearing protection on when you're using them. So,
even having those on shotguns is an amazing concept to me. And I've listened to those as well. And it's just like, it's beautiful, Go ahead.
Go ahead. As I say, Jamie, he says, I meant the gangsters in the 20s and the 30s were the last ones used. That's right. I asked it. You're right. That's kind of why that came about. Remember, the NFA was passed in 1934, and it was due to what really set everybody off was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah.
And then they decided, we got to do something. And that's when they took all full autos and they pushed through a National Firearms Act and they put all these restrictions, put a $200 tax stamp. Well, you know why that was? Because $200 back then, that was a load of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's not. It's still $200. But I imagine there's going to be pushback from several places that we've never even thought of because of the revenue created now from that $200. And Eric says, I don't have a suppressor. I have a magnifier on my gun. Okay. That them evil scopes and those eagle magnifiers. I mean, maybe that makes them more dangerous, huh? Be sure and tune in to 701 Nation tomorrow night. I'm going to have a new sponsor announcement for guns in the 701 and 701 Nation. Yep.
Is it me? Is it me?
Is it you? Did you sponsor us, Mike?
No, I didn't. I don't have the money to do that.
I know who it is, and we appreciate it, but I'll let Jamie go ahead and do that. And Jamie sent us the stuff, and we'll read it here a little bit as to what he's got coming up on 701 Nation tomorrow night.
Great.
As far as suppressors go, I think you're going to see pushback from, of course, ATF because of the 200. Yeah, David, no more 200. Oh, darn, I guess I'll have to lay off some ATF agents. Absolutely.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about that soon anyway after the January 20th. So.
But I can tell you right now, there's going to be pushback because of that revenue supply, which shouldn't exist to begin with. And I think you're going to see some of our, I hate to say this, our dealers that deal them. I think you're going to see a little pushback from them because with that law on the books, it forces you to do some things, right? It forces you to go to a dealer, to do the background check, do the $200 tax stamp. Let's face it, suppressors are kind of inflated on price, although it's getting better because there's more people out there producing them now.
Right.
I remember when I bought my first one, holy cow, but they are getting relatively cheaper, but they're not as cheap as they probably should be. And it's going to create more competition by getting rid of the NFA designation and the $200 tax stamp. It will create an explosion, honestly, in manufacturers of suppressors, and they will get cheaper because of that. And some people aren't going to like that. It's like any other company that has a monopoly. They don't want to see it that way, do they?
True.
I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt them, though. In the short run, it will. But in the long run, then you just start carrying, the most reasonable, good quality suppressor for the right price and sell volume, and you'll do well. Plus, when people come into your store, let's face it, I don't know about you, I never walk into a gun store and just walk out of there with the one item I wanted.
I'll just take this, and that's all I need. Yeah, it's on my list. There's always something else I need. So,
John Rambo. Hey, there's our little anger man arms. Got to give him a plug here. He says, "Oh, that's too bad to watch Silencer Central take a bath." Yeah, they're the big dog on the block. Them and was it Silencer Co?
Yeah.
I've got most of mine are lane suppressors, mostly because I got involved with him a long time ago. He was sponsoring and doing stuff for our NRA banquets in Rapid City at the time.
Right.
So I've done a lot of business with him too. But
yeah, and I know Lori Volk is one of the reps down for Silencer Central, and she's always been good to me and everything like that. But they probably will change the market quite a bit.
John says, Lane is good. Yeah, and the owner's great. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he's just a great guy, and he knows a lot. He knows a lot. So that's where I learned a lot of the information, and I don't have a good understanding yet. I do like the product, and I do like the noise suppression. I love that. I love shooting with it. And now that I've got all my credentials are switched over between the both two states, now I'll be doing stuff in North Dakota. So, John, I won't be able to come get none from you because I'm going to buy them in North Dakota. But anyone in South Dakota, make sure you hit up Little Anger Man Arms, go to their website, and talk to John. He'll get you hooked up with a great suppressor. And now the turnaround times are amazing. I think Jamie said he got his back 3 days on one and 5 on the other. That's amazing now. So JD says Silencer Shop is the other big one. There you go. So that's what we got on suppressors. I don't have much else to add. I'm all for the Hearing Protection Act or whatever they call it.
Right.
And I think we need to get it done. And Trump has said again, gets to his desk and he will sign it. There you go. John says approval in 1 day today. That's outstanding. So I waited months to get mine.
Yeah. So John's on there with that as well. And we've got a bunch of other friends on here as well. So let me ask you this question. So my wife wants to have a pistol.
Okay.
Yay.
Awesome.
And I want to take her out shooting. She should. Well, I want her to learn, and it just, whatever she wants is fine with me as long as she doesn't shoot at me. Well, here's the deal: is that so I've been thinking about the LC9s and all those the smaller ones and stuff like that, or do you think the 380s or what? So your guys' opinion for a novice shooter, for concealed carry. We're going to get her concealed carry permit, even though we don't need it anymore. So what's your big opinion on that? So and maybe she'll buy me a suppressor, so that'll be even better. So
that'll be better. I mean, for me, how much shooting has she done, Mike?
Very little, not since she was younger. Ever since her brother was born, she's gotten the short end of the stick on that because he gets all the attention.
Like I tell everybody, rather than giving them a recommendation for a firearm itself, I tell them to go out and try several. Either go to a range or find a guy like me who has several that you can try.
Right.
And you walk her through how to use it properly. But I wouldn't rule out revolvers either, because revolvers.
No, and I've thought about bodyguards in the Ruger version of that as well. So those are pretty nice little 38s.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple Smiths that I had for Donnell at one time. One of them was a titanium one, so it was a little lighter. And when we shot it, it kicked. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that was the idea of it, right? I mean, it was for self-defense. But you know what I carry, and I get made fun of sometimes, but I'm telling you right now, I love my little North American Arms 22 mag, and it will do the job. It absolutely will. So JD says, Axe and I tested the 30 Super Carry. I definitely recommend that for women. That's right. I remember that video, and it is good. John Rambo says Sig P365, another great one, and the Glock 443. I'm not a big fan of Glocks. Not that they don't perform. They perform. It's just not been my choice of firearm. But
well, and let me ask on that too. So does that type of Glock still have the problem with biting? I mean, because
I don't know. I can tell you. Maybe he can answer that, John. I'm not real familiar with the actual 43. So
okay.
But
it's just a question I wanted to ask a little bit, and I'm getting a lot of information up here on the side from Doug Wolf and all the gang and everything like that. Yeah, the MP Shield 9, that's one I want. So
Shield is a good one. Like I said, the first thing you need to do though is take her and go out and shoot several different ones and see which one she looks like she's most comfortable with, Mike.
Right.
I always tell people that, like if they're in the Bismarck area, I always tell them to go to the range there on Airport Road that's attached to Jerry's Pond. Patriot, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but you can actually rent a gun there and try it out. And what better way to get the right gun is to try several of them.
That's true.
Now, I around here when my nephew's fiance, she wanted to try some. So we took her out and she tried several. I've got Kimbers, I've got Smiths, I've got, Glocks, I've got, you name it. I probably have Personal Defense Center. There you go, Josh. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And give it a whirl. See which one you like. See which one that you can handle and operate. That's another thing. It might look great.
Right.
If they can't operate with ease, don't be carrying.
That's right there. It's like what Jolene says. It says she knows her experience of what I started with is not what my carrier choice is now. So yeah, I mean, exactly.
Absolutely. And Jolene, you're absolutely right. And she put up there too. My recommendation as a wife, let her pick out what she wants, have her go and hold them, take her someplace where she can try several. That's exactly what I said. And
there you go.
That is my number one recommendation to anybody. And then when you get to that point where you've made your decision, what you really want to buy, then do it. And don't be afraid if she doesn't like it after you buy it. Guns are tradable.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't really lose any money on it. And I think anyone that deals guns or knows that has had guns. I mean, I've had not many, but I've bought guns that I thought, I got to have that one, right? And I don't own them no more. I got rid of them, got something different that I like. It's not a big deal. Okay, so John gives us, that's maybe not a bad.
That's not a bad idea.
Put that one up there. He says, start with a 22 first, get good control, and then go get what you want. That's actually not a bad idea. Take a 22, shoot it, learn how to use it. I'd find a revolver and a semi-auto.
Right.
You have a semi-auto, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. And let her shoot them. I think you got a revolver too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've got the 20. I got a 22 Heritage, and I got something else too. But just to get the feel of it, you know.
You know, I gotta say that. Remember those white ones we had? What were those? Were those cars?
Yeah,
American?
yeah. Remember back in the day.
As far as a semi-auto went, I remember that gun in particular because it was kind of what we decided was probably designed with women in mind because the action was so easy to operate. It wasn't a hard pull. It was a nice, easy pull and let
Yep.
go, and very, very easy to operate, even for people with small hands or weak hands. My mom even went and shot one of them because she's got arthritis, but she could operate that pistol and pull
Well,
that action
on
back.
that same note, when my father was still with us, he had an SR9 and he liked it, but the problem with it is that he had a problem with his hands, with his fingertips, ulcers on his fingertips. So he had a problem pulling back the slide. So I traded him my my Ruger. It's just like the Bodyguard. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it was the 38P. But in a revolver, perfect for him if he had a little problem with his hands, and so you don't have to worry about the strength of your hands on that one because you don't have to worry about pulling back. But still, yeah, the 22 is not a bad idea to start off with. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you one that I would probably think about right off the bat. What was the one we had? The 22 Walther. The 22 Walther.
I remember we had
Yeah, we had that really beautiful little 22 Walther that we had, silver ones.
LCP. There you go. That's what it was. Yep.
Yep. LCP.
I'm reading the comments too here.
Yeah.
And Dan Brown, who's also an instructor, and he says he seconds the idea of using a 22 first. And I do. I gotta say, I think that's actually a really good idea, just because. And several people have said it already in here. You can get a good feel for it. You can get the control of it. Start with a 22, get good control, and then go get what you want. You know, John said that. Hit the target. Hit on target or hits on target are better than a miss.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Gives them confidence. That's a big thing. What I've noticed with ladies when introducing them, their confidence level. They're so afraid of failing and hitting the target. Well, like Danelle, I took her out. I said, yes, here's how you aim. Here's what you want to do. Here's how you want to stand. If you don't hit the target, don't worry. Get the feel for the firearm. Learn how to function the firearm. Learn how to find your sight. Learn how to shoot it. Then we'll worry about getting you on target. You know, it's different when you're learning, as far as I was concerned. I mean, I didn't care how. And we ironically started with a 22 because I had the most ammo for that, for one. But I thought that was a good firearm, and we used my Browning Buckmark at first, and she didn't care for that because it's too hard to pull the action back.
Right.
So then we switched and we got her on target. I did give her my revolver. I have several different ones. I got a Ruger. I mean, these are full size. They're not LCPs, but I even have a Heritage, and then let her shoot all them. And she decided she probably liked the semi-auto better. We finally graduated up. Her carry gun now is a Kimber's. That's what she likes to shoot. And I got her that fancy Bel Air one, you know, because it looks cool.
Right. Remember that.
Josh Patterson says the 22 has helped my fiance with anticipating recoil that she was getting with her 380. No, she don't dip bang with the 380 anymore. There you go. There you go. Well, let's get to some of these here. Rand, you're right. Jolene, she says, you got to be comfortable with it or you won't enjoy it. Absolutely. That's for men too. That's anybody. You got to.
Well, that's especially with our kids as well. When you're teaching your kids, you don't want to give them something that's going to kick like a mule, because then it's like shotguns. You know, we don't want to start them off when they're not ready, because then they're shy on ever wanting to do it again because it's a bad experience.
There's nothing that pisses me off more is when you take some dipshit and gives either his wife or his child or his buddy the most powerful gun he's got his first time, and hey, go shoot this, and laugh at him. Oh, yeah, that's great, guys. That's a good way.
Right. Yeah.
That just gets me. JD says my mom loves and shoots her Ruger revolver in a 38 Special, and I forget the model I have for Danelle. I've got several, but that one in particular, we just shoot 38 Specials through it. We can shoot 357s.
Right, and that's what mine used to be.
38s. Now, I also got her finally an SP7 can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head. I had it. SP101, I believe, is what it is. I'd have to go look at it. It's been so long since I looked at it. It's a heavier gun. It shoots a 357 Magnum or a 38. She liked the heaviness of it for the control, but she does not like to carry it. She likes to shoot it, but she doesn't like to carry it. That's what I mean. You might think you want that gun, but then you won't like it. But I was okay because now I carry it when I want to.
There you go.
To me, there's just never enough guns. But
Yeah,
all right,
my new author that I've got. I mean, it's a great for carrying. It's a nice little 9. But yeah, you're right. The 22 might be the best way to start off.
I think
There we go. What we got from Josh.
Josh is my fiance. Had never shot a pistol till a couple of years ago. We got her a Smith 380 EZ Shield. She learned how to handle it safely when she got her concealed carry weapons permit. I got a Taurus TX22 for her to practice with at the range. Since 380 shells went way up.
Yeah.
And what's the rest of it? She still shoots the 380 as well to practice with it. There you go.
There you go.
Dan Brown, he said, yep, I second that. Canic, Brian Warner got that. I couldn't remember. It wasn't a Walther. Remember, that was Aaron. It wasn't the car. The Canics. That's what those were.
That's right. That's the Canics were actually, if I remember properly from our training back then, those were European made, but they were made with the specs for the United States military. So
I believe you're right. And then they came out, we had the white ones. Then they released them to the public. And after that, then I think we had the two-tone. It was I want to say
tan.
that tan with the OD green.
Mm-hmm.
Same gun. But I liked shooting that gun. I had the opportunity to shoot that, and I thought that was a great gun myself. Eric says, I'm a fan of revolvers. I know he is, but I know that Eric carries a semi-auto, too, quite often. The LCP, it's like the Bodyguard. Yeah, I think we got the Ruger here. Brian puts up here. The Ruger SR22 is a really good semi-auto, and you're right here. It absolutely is. Nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of great guns out there. I think the best suggestion is take her out, let her shoot a lot of them, if access to them. But the 22 is probably where to start, Mike. I do like that idea.
Yeah, that's probably the best time. Thanks everybody for helping me on it. Yeah. By the way, I picked this up as well in case you can't see this. So this is for mounting either underneath your desk or mounting in your car so that you can stick your revolver or pistol on there or whatever. So yeah, it's another little Temu thing that I picked up in the last couple of days. So,
but don't order Temu though when you've had a few, right?
No.
Check the order.
No, I woke up one day and went, how the hell did I order all this stuff? What is...
And JD says, friend of the show, Leon Francis has a Canic. Great handgun. It really is. I said the Canic. I love the Canics. I had one for a while. Then I'll tell you what I did with that. It was a great gun for self-defense. Now a relative has that because she needed a good self-defense.
There you go.
She likes shooting it. So I should buy myself a new Christmas present. Maybe that's what I'll do.
So, Christmas.
Tell you what, on that note, let's take a break. It's up here about 1:45 almost to the top of the hour. We're going to take our big break, and we'll come back, and we still got a happy ending. We're going to actually play you a badass, one of the first ones for you. I think you guys are going to like that. It's Leo Major, and then I think we got a couple other subjects we might talk about.
We got some stuff to talk about.
All right, we'll see everybody back here after we thank some sponsors.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
Yeah, hey, look, I got the moves like Michael, the flow like Aubrey, walk around thinking I'm a prince like Saudi. Mismatched Converse, t-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, can cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
All right, we are back, everybody. John Rambo, that's our Little Angry Man Arms. So all I'm going to say is make sure that you check your weapons you carry. You never know what is going to fall into your holster. As I found out the other day with a piece of winter fresh gum. I saw that too, John. A piece of gum actually fell into his holster, and then he made a mess. So, yeah, you want to kind of watch and see exactly what's going on and check it often, especially your carry gun. Great advice. So,
Yeah, pay extra for the winter fresh there.
Get that nice wintry, minty flavor and smell.
It's hard. Well, it's harder to drop your gun when it's stuck to your hand, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that, man. I don't think it's probably too hard, though.
No,
Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you're just tuning us now, we just wrapped up some segments about suppressors and the Hearing Protection Act, New York City, I guess a murder, and then we got into the discussion. I thought that was great, Mike. That wasn't scripted at all, and that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a question I wanted to ask, and I figure we got the best listeners right here that we can ask those questions to. So there we go.
And again, don't forget, guys, tomorrow night, Thursday, episode 27701 Nation, 8 p.m. Central is what he's got on there. So 8 p.m. Central, 7 Mountain. And we'll give you some more details here about at the end of the show. But again, 701 Nation tomorrow night with J.D. Breck. And don't forget, Friday, KFYR, 5:50 a.m. Mitchell in the morning. Todd and I are I think we're going to discuss some pretty good topics, I do believe. And one I want to bring up is the poll, quick like, that we've been doing. I think I even have the one from Twitter. I do. So here's the one from Twitter. What should the North Dakota state rifle be? We got bolt action, AR-15, lever action, and other. Last I checked, 66.7% of the people thought it should be a lever action. And not surprising. I don't think it was surprising to Jamie when I sent that stuff to him. I didn't look at the Facebook one. Maybe he can follow up on that and let me know what that one's at. But overall, I do believe that that's probably what most people are going to want. I already got I got one of our House of Representatives and a senator that will carry the bills if we need them. I don't think we have to carry them in each house. I'd probably start out with the House and let it go to the Senate, and he'll pick it up from there. But I know that they're ready to go on this. They would like to get this thing written. I know Kelly had talked about doing a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. So look for these polls. Go to our websites, go to our social platforms, and look and see and make your vote, because I can tell you right now, I don't which lever action is it going to be. Right now, the people that we've surveyed on it, they're really leaning really hard to the TR lever action, which was chambered in a 405 Winchester, 1895, I believe it was. And you know what? Whether you like Teddy Roosevelt or not, it's probably a good gun to be our state rifle.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, it's the gun. It's you think about it. 100 something years ago, that was the rifle,
right,
for the entire state. I mean, that is what you had.
Well, and they wanted something that could. Yeah, the 1895 is what he carried. He did have other guns. Don't get me wrong, that were chambered in different calibers, but it seemed like looking at the researches, that was his gun. That was his go-to gun. Was that Winchester 1895 chambered in a 405 Win, and so I would imagine that's probably where the leanings are going to go. I don't got an issue with that. It's a good gun. I do think this, and I hope everybody believes this, that we need to have an official state designated firearm. And I just think that's the way to do it. Hey, Doug, look, AR would trigger more libs. Can I change my vote? You sure can change your vote. Absolutely. JD says, lever gun is dominating a Facebook poll. Thanks to everybody participating. We appreciate it. Even me going around asking people about this, boy, I'll tell you what, that seems to be the lever action seems to be the dominant one. Now, which one? There's a lot of variations on that, but the TR gun seems to be the one that is the most mentioned one, whether it's because that's the one they know or the one they like. But we're going to have to figure that out if we're going to submit something. As far as a shotgun, hey, I think Jamie's going to put up some polls on that. That could be interesting. I mean, I know what the popular guns are, but what would be the one that should probably be North Dakota's official shotgun? Not just a rifle. And then the handguns, well, that's going to be all over. So we'll probably start out the same way. Semi-auto, do we go with a revolver or single shot? Black powder? I don't know. Jamie will come up with what we should have. We're not going to make this complicated because it'd be like an opinion. There'd be thousands, right?
Yeah, not all of them are right. Yeah.
No. And, do we base it on heritage in North Dakota? Do we base it on what's most popular now? You start looking at the shotguns around here now, and that's another thing. Shotguns, semi-auto, pump, or brake action. Which one should it be? I think that's your three choices. Then we can go for there as far as to what that one would be. But I like it. So go hit the poll. I don't know, Jamie. I think it's still up there on the rifle. We'll get that finished up. Here we go. JD Smith. He says shotgun and handgun polls coming soon to Facebook and X. There you go.
There you go.
We'll look for them there. Vote on that. And I think it's something cool. Just talking to a few legislators that I've talked to about this, they like the idea. The rifle is really something. And again, with them, it was a lever action. I knew that was the way it was going to be here in North Dakota. I had no doubts. Now, I'd have loved to see an AR, but it's not going to happen. I see that, was it Tennessee? I think it was Tennessee. I don't remember off the top of my head either. But Ronnie Barrett, his Barrett 50 BMG, that's their gun, their official gun. I believe that. I think it was Tennessee. Jamie sent me that article, but I just kind of glanced at it. I didn't get it all. So. No High Point. What the hell?
Oh, well, that's Manhattan.
Yeah, that's man. Actually, that's probably what should our official doorstop of the state be? I don't know. Maybe club. Hey, I won't knock them too hard. They're ugly and they're bulky. I can tell you though, the ones I've shot, I didn't have any issue with them. Some of them have accuracy problems, but I've actually run across a couple that in all reality, they shot well and they'd have definitely got the job done.
See, I should buy some high points then. Then I can blame the accuracy problems on them instead of
There you
myself.
go. There you go, Mike. Hey, you're getting better though.
There you go.
I've seen you hit some things.
A few things.
You didn't get your deer though, but that wasn't because you missed.
No, that's because I'm getting old and blind. So that's my thing. So yeah.
Well, and deer, you guys had whitetail tags.
Yeah.
Whitetails are
Well,
not as plentiful as they were.
The last one that I had, he was a huge one, but I'll tell you what, he blended in so well, and it was just dark enough. Well, it wasn't dark, but it was just shadowy enough with the clouds and everything. And my eyesight's just not what it used to be. And so once he got up too high, he got skylined on me. I couldn't shoot him, and he was massive. But yeah, he would have been a nice one. But there's always next year. Always next year.
There's always next year. And you got to, you have a place to stay. At least I think you will. I mean,
I do.
maybe I'll own it by then. So.
Yep, there you go.
I'm hoping so anyway. No, I got that all winterized. It's done for the year. I guess if someone wants to stay in it, you're on your own. We'll turn on the electric heaters, but there won't be any kind of running water in it. So it'll be really kind of like old time, right?
Yikes.
Right. All righty, guys. So I guess one thing I'm just going to say this. I want to actually, any of you that are listening that were down and around here in hunting, thank you. Thank you for asking, and I hope you had a good time. The rest of you, not a stellar year for you. I'm telling you. And I ran into some again. I thought I was done with the deer seasons, but I forgot about the reservation tags. And sure enough, we had a few people still trying to fill those. And I don't know how to, I don't know how to do it, Mike. What's a good way? Don't be a jackass.
Yeah, I mean, just in life in general, but yeah, don't be a jackass.
Yeah, don't park side by side on the curve and then get upset when I stop and ask you to move. It is a road. People use it out anywhere, whether it's here, anywhere in the rural areas. There are still people that live there and use these roads. It's not a vast unknown like the movies put it out there. And when you come from the Fargo area, it's not a free for all. It's not party time. I'm so sick of it. I really am. And I know not every hunter is that way. And that's why people do get to hunt my place if they ask and they seem like they're good people. I only let so many though, because, well, as you know, Mike, I got my own tags.
Right.
And my sons do. And, you can't let everybody hunt it. Then it becomes public land, and then it looks like public land, nothing on it.
Right.
And that's what these look around here like. I can tell you right now, unless you know me the rest of the year, don't even ask me. I'm so sick of it. I just am. I'm done. I just want to know
here,
kind of a state.
I just want to know here in South Dakota, why in the world can we not get the game fishing parks to start issuing muley deers for rifle? Because it's just like, the first morning, 100 plus muleys in one field, just all over the damn place. And I'm like going, really? And of course, hunting the whitetail's tougher. But man, I'll tell you what, beautiful muleys out there, just big muleys out there, and you just can't get a license to save your life.
See, and I don't remember when I used to hunt South Dakota, I could usually apply for that any deer tag, which I got quite often, honestly. Shockingly, of course, I haven't hunted South Dakota in years. I've been hunting North Dakota, and I can hunt whatever I want with my North Dakota gratis tag. So I can take mule deer, whitetail, buck or doe. One thing I did enjoy with South Dakota in those days was the any deer. They didn't issue buck tags back then, really. Now you have your special West River buck tag. The Hills, I think, was a buck tag. But as far as out here in unit, what was it, 20A now? Or
20A, yeah.
It was always an any deer or an any antlerless deer, or you could get the any deer, any whitetail or any antlerless whitetail for a double tag.
Right.
We had a lot of whitetails, and I understood why they did that, but it looks like to me they haven't changed that, have they?
No, not at all. And you know what? And the muleys have overtaken quite a bit here up by where you are. So it's just
EHD rolled through here. It did roll through here yet again a little bit this year. Nothing like it did 2 years ago. So I'm thankful for that. I noticed here postseason that I must have had a lot of deer chased onto our place. that I didn't even know about that were hiding in areas, because I've kind of been out and about just kind of scouting and looking for things and doing a little coyote hunting now. And I'm telling you, a lot more whitetails were here or got pushed onto here than I knew of, which is good. I'm glad. The one that I was chasing, I did not get, but if he's still, if no one got him, and I haven't heard of anybody shooting a big whitetail, and he's big, so I assume he made it. VHD doesn't get him, he's going to be damn nice next year. Problem is, I know he's not a resident of our place like a lot of these deer are. I mean, the ones you see here, they're here all the time. The bucks move in, and they're generally here, and they'll drop their antlers here. You've seen my stack of sheds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they come here, and this is their breeding ground, and then they drop their antlers here. They live here. This is their winter range. But this guy I've seen this is not his place. I'm positive he got chased into here, but I don't know from where. So I mean,
and I've got to say that, usually the antlers that we get up in South Dakota, just south of your place, usually are pretty light colored. But my brother-in-law got one that was really dark. It reminded me of the Cheyenne River Basin, where they eat that iron that's in the soil and get those much darker antlers. I was just amazed about how dark his was. So it was beautiful piece.
Didn't have a dark face too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Got to tell him to quit shooting them little ones though.
Huh. He wasn't bad. What was his? Was his a 5x5 or something like that? I think 4x5.
I didn't look at that.
I don't know.
I looked at Jack's. That was a nice deer.
Yeah, Jack's was nice. Yeah, there we go. Hey, by the way, before we go on to anything else, I think I've got a message from the president for you here real quick.
Oh, we better get that one.
Let me see if I can get this going here real quick.
Okay.
Joe Biden, and I hereby pardon the guy related to me for whatever that thing was. Gosh, golly, I can't even think of what it was anymore. It was something though, right? Something that wasn't good. No questions. Hey, hey, man. Good God, man.
You know what? I'm glad he's leaving, but aren't we going to miss all them things?
Oh, geez.
I mean, you gotta admit, he did provide us with 4 years of, really dumb things that he said and did, but he destroyed the country, so it wasn't worth that. But.
No, the joke is never worth that much.
No, the joke wasn't worth it. But yeah. All right. Well, just a second here. Brian Warner says, I understand that 10% of whitetails that contract EHD survive, and then they are immune and passed on the offspring. So in 100 years, we should be good. Could be, Brian. I mean, I can tell you right now, and it might be 10%, and that would make sense. 90% die then, huh? But
well, the good thing Brian mentions is a good thing there too, because I will be able to retire by at least 85 years from now, so I'll have those later years in order to go out and do
that, aren't you?
Just hunt all the time, yeah. After my retirement,
and then the CWD thing that's going on in North Dakota, we might have to address that in a separate show, because I'm telling you right now that's a whole show, honestly. And I'm seeing some crazy, stupid stuff, but it's because of the money that's being funded from everywhere. Feds, state, the, quote, conservation groups, which was laughable for some of them. But anyway, the CWD thing, to me, is not what they say it is. And EHD is real, but it's caused by a mite. I don't know if there's much you can do to do it. I mean, what are you going to do? Go out there and spray for the bugs? I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, all the land?
Yeah, I mean, and then what will that do? So it's just one of them things. It's Mother Nature, and she's doing her thing. And, I found a really nice, I think I had it on here, that great big one that was in velvet and very heavy, a lot of palmation in there. And I really wanted that deer. I knew about him. I'd seen him. I'd been watching him, and then I drove down in my creek there like, crap. Yeah. So neighbor had a great big one too. It died in his corral.
Yeah.
And that was a nice deer. So, it happens. We'll get some good years again. I think it was too dry and too warm this fall. That probably didn't help.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the whole states, both states. Yeah.
All right. Well, so you got something you want to go after?
I'm going to save it for next time. I've got, we had a question that we were kind of batting back and forth between you, me, and Jamie there a while back about, I remember the days when it was all right to shoot Nazis. And course, let me see if I can share this real quick. I'm going to share this screen real quick. So let me see. So, in case you haven't seen it, yeah, these guys in Columbus, Ohio, got picked up, and one of them, I think probably the one with his hands on his head right there, or the one looked like he's crying. He was crying because he was like, "My First Amendment rights." And the police were like, "Fuck you." So anyway, and one of the guys that we were talking to mentioned this, like, well, they're probably plants for the FBI, and I'm like, well, here's my deal: if you dress up as a Nazi and you get shot as a Nazi, then there was no harm, no foul. So if you happen to be a FBI agent that was pretending to be a Nazi, then no harm, no foul there as well. I mean, I'm just saying that there was a time when we used to shoot Nazis. We used to beat up Nazis. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and tell you a little something I've got on this, as well as there was a time in my younger youth when I was kind of a badass and didn't hurt so much all the time just moving, that we used to go out and tear up American Nazis and Klannies left and right. And so and I've never apologized about that because I hate them. So I think the reason why you're seeing these clowns showing up more and more nowadays is because our grandfathers and great grandfathers have passed on. And are no longer here to say, hey, why the hell aren't we kicking the hell out of these Nazis here like this? So I don't know. There's a generation that's missing that it was kind of a stopgap for these guys. I just don't understand it. But yeah, go ahead with whatever you got.
Well, it does seem like, in all honesty, that the Nazi Party as a whole in the United States has been gaining ground. It seems like here, I mean, I've seen it as far as the numbers, the sheer numbers themselves. When you look at these things, why is it happening? That I can't tell you. Is it people are moving in? Is it just people misguided? Why does any group like that grow? Look at the KKK. It grew and it grew, and finally it kind of got beat down.
Yeah.
And it's still there, but it really has no bearing on anything anymore.
Right.
They just exist. And it used to be, if you were a member of the KKK, I mean, even the United States government had you pegged as, I forget what they called it. It wasn't called, terrorists back then when they were doing that through the 70s and 80s. But you couldn't join the military, if they could prove it.
If you had tattoos, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything if you were a member of the KKK. So, I mean, they literally beat down the party through a lot of different things without, killing them, I guess, essentially. But I don't know. I've never been a member. Don't plan to be a member.
No. But, it's just, we had those guys that showed up at Pier a while back, and I'll tell you, it drove me nuts. It's like they don't have a permit, so we're going to get rid of. I mean, really, that's your biggest recourse on them. They don't have a permit, so we asked them to leave. I mean,
it's like you and I were talking here before the show started. I got no issue really with any group. I don't have to like them. But if they're a United States citizen, they are afforded the rights of the Constitution. And, one of the parts of the First Amendment is, right of assembly, right to petition, and the right to freedom of speech, right, along with press and religion. So I might not like what they say, but they should be able to say it. I don't believe you should have to have a permit to gather, to speak,
asking for the king's permission.
Right. That always pisses me off when we do these things at the Capitol. And they're, you got to go ahead and you got to do this. Why should we ever have to petition our government to assemble? We already have the right to assemble. You can't designate a free speech area. It's free speech is everywhere. There's not an area for it. Now, if you get out of hand, you start destroying private property, public property, starting fights. With assaulting, maybe murder, whatever you might be doing that's against the law, then that's when you have to be arrested. But it's for those infringements. Just assembling and speaking, no, that shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't. Now, if you start blocking traffic, now you got a problem because that's illegal and you shouldn't block traffic. It's just that plain and simple. But if you want to gather on the steps of your Capitol building, whether I like what you're saying or not, you have the right to do that as far as I'm concerned, because I am a constitutionalist. And I might not like it, but I think you have the right to do it. That's why my take on a lot of that stuff.
I'm gonna write Constitution on a giant rubber bumper and put it on my car and drive over him. But yeah.
Now you get into my way on the road, though, and we're gonna have a problem because you don't have the right to block the road and block my freedom to peacefully pass through. And that's just the way that goes. Yeah, Jason Penny, peaceful assembly. That's right, peaceful assembly. What some of these groups did in 2020 was not peaceful. They burned down buildings and cars and threatened people, even committed crimes against people. That's not the way you do it.
Nope.
And whether it's on our side or their side. But yeah.
I just had to throw that out there real quick. So
subject. I don't think we're afraid of any subjects here at all.
No, not really. Hey, so
you still have the right to carry, even if you're in those groups, until you start doing the wrong thing. If you are a legal citizen that can legally own a firearm, you should legally be able to carry. And that's just the way that's supposed to be. But as I found out, and had to defend myself. Well,
one thing, if you notice on those pictures that I showed of those guys, is that this whole mask thing is no different than the clannies wearing masks. Now, you're peacefully assembling. That's true. But you obviously don't believe in whatever you're doing to an extent is
they don't want to be recognized, do they?
Don't want to be recognized because you won't have a job the next day because your boss is going to go, oh, shit, you're a Nazi.
That's a great point. If you work for somebody and you have a right to believe whatever you want. But let's remember, when you work for somebody at their business, you have essentially entered into a contract to sell your time to them for the negotiated wage, whether it's salary or per hour. And there's always recommendations and there's always policies. There's things to follow when you do that. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you work for a company, you can't do things on company time, but you also probably represent that company by, I worked for the NRA. There was things I couldn't do. Remember, Mike? I just couldn't do them or say them because I always was representing them.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do it. And I knew that going in. I mean, I remember they showed us the whole damn handbook and I read it, unlike a lot of people do. There was a lot of things that you were not supposed to do and say. I even violated that sometimes, but I got away with it. But your employer has the right that if you got caught like those men did in the picture and they show up for work, hey, you're fired. They have the right to do that as far as I'm concerned too. Absolutely. So, all right. Dang it. Now, guys, you can keep commenting here. All of a sudden I quit commenting.
Yeah, everybody stopped commenting.
Doug, he says, I think we have more communists in the country than I think you're probably right. The Communist Party has really grown, but not just that. And people can get pissed off if they want. A lot of communists have moved into the Democrat National Committee, and it's plain to see in their pillars of their actual platform. That's the ideology of Marxism, actually, a lot of it, and which is just a light communist as far as I'm concerned.
Light communism.
Yeah. All right, little angry man. Our boss gets $1, I get a dime. That's why I poop on company time.
Well, wait a minute. You are your own boss, aren't you?
Yeah, what the heck? You need to talk to the boss about a raise there, John.
There you go. Dime is not worth your time there.
Right. That's right. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're about a quarter after. Let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to play you one of our first. Well, it wasn't our first, but
it's like the first four or five. Yeah.
A badass. And it was good enough. We're going to bring it back to you. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's pay some bills. Thanks some sponsors. And we will be right back with a badass of the week.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Bandit.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
And we are back again, thanks to all of our great sponsors. And, of course, Lauer Auto Repair. I recommend them highly. He's done a great job on my stuff. And they're located at 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. And you know what, Axe, I did do a little bit more work on your website, even though you haven't really wanted me to do it or say it. But I did do some stuff. I think we're just going to put a general one up there. At least you'll have a presence on the web, and they can just put the number there and they can call you. I think that's the best way.
There you go.
Because actually, I have a lot of people ask, "Hey, where's our website?" I said they don't have one. But hey, I'm glad that they're on board, and they have been since day one. So, tell you what, you want to give us a little intro to this, or you just want to?
Well, we got Leo Major. Leo Major was a hero in 2 wars, but pretty much explains itself. Lost an eye, became a great sniper. Go figure that one out. And he's credited with taking lots of Nazis down. So that's my favorite part about it. That's why I like him. So there we go. So even back in the day.
Go ahead and cue it up, and guys, enjoy. This will be a great one.
All right, here we go.
We did it. It was great.
Leo Major. Everybody, for gunsandthe701.com, this is Mike, and once again, we're talking about the badasses of the world that you might not have known about. But I'll tell you what, these guys and gals were truly that, badasses. Leo Major, born January 23rd, 1921 in New Bedford, Massachusetts, to French-Canadian parents. He moved his family to Montreal before his first birthday. Leo Major joined the Canadian Army in 1940 to prove to his father that he was somebody to be proud of. Spoiler alert! Major was serving with the Regiment de la Chandelière, which landed in Juno Beach in the invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944. During the reconnaissance mission on D-Day, Major captured a German half-track by himself, because he had nothing better to do, I guess. So the vehicle contained German communication equipment and secret codes. Days later, during his first encounter with an SS Nazi patrol, he killed 4 soldiers. However, one of them managed to ignite a phosphorus grenade. In the resulting explosion, Major lost an eye, but continued to fight. He continued his service as a scout and a sniper by insisting that he only needed one eye to sight his weapon. And according to him, he looked good as a pirate. That's not me, that's him. During the Battle of Scheldt in Zeeland in the southern Netherlands, Major and his friend Corporal Wilfred Arsenal were assigned to determine the fates of a company of recruits that had disappeared after being sent to capture a town. However, as Arsenal fell ill, Major went alone.
Didn't tell anybody, just went. After finding the company's abandoned equipment and determining that they had been captured, Major entered a house to find shelter from the rain and the cold, and that's when he spotted 2 German soldiers walking along a dike. He captured the first German, used him as bait to capture the other one, and brought his captives not back to his base. No, he brought them to their commanding officer's base. The officer and his company, totaling around 100 men, surrendered. In a nearby group of houses, SS troops, witnessing the company surrendering, opened fire on them, killing 7 and injuring some others. Now, Major disregarded the enemy fire and continued escorting his prisoners to the Canadian front lines, ordering a passing Canadian tank to fire on the SS troops behind him. He marched back to camp with the surviving 93 prisoners. 93. You got to think about it. What did you do today? I mean, that's just a day for this guy. Now, in February 1945, Major was helping a military chaplain load corpses from a destroyed Tiger II tank into a universal carrier in Keplen, Germany. After they finished, the chaplain and the driver seated themselves in the front, while Major jumped in the back of the vehicle. That's when the carrier struck a landmine, resulting explosion killing the chaplain and the driver and knocking Major unconscious, also sending him into the air about 30 feet. Upon regaining consciousness, he awoke to find 2 concerned medical officers trying to assess his condition. They transported him on a truck to a field hospital 30 miles away, stopping every 15 minutes to inject him with morphine to relieve the pain in his back, which later we would find out was broken. Now his commander says, "You're done. You get to go home." So Major did what anyone else would do. He went AWOL. He escaped from the hospital, ran back to his own platoon, and took up his normal job of killing Nazis. How he wasn't arrested for AWOL, I don't know, but then again, yeah, it was a different time. At the beginning of April 1945, the Regiment de la Château, I said that wrong, but that's all right. Those guys were approaching the city of Zwolle, which had shown to have a strong German resistance. Now, on April 13, the regiment commanding officer asked for 2 volunteers for a reconnaissance mission into Zwolle, their task being to scout the German forces and, if possible, make contact with the Dutch resistance. This before an Allied artillery barrage could commence. Now, Private Major and Corporal Arsenal, they stepped forward and accepted the task. However, Major and Arsenal, wanting to spare the city from destruction, decided to keep to themselves that they were going to liberate the city by themselves. That night, Major and Arsenal entered the farmhouse of Hendrik van Gernen, who gave them rough positions of German encampments near the railway tracks. After leaving the farmhouse, Arsenal was killed by German fire after accidentally giving away the pair's position. Now, Major killed 2 of the Germans, but the rest fled in a vehicle. Now, deciding to continue his mission alone, Major entered the Zwolle near Sassenpoort. Now, he was carrying 2 Sten guns and a big sack of grenades. Yeah, something about being prepared, right? Now, he arrived in the center of Zwolle about 100 hours and found the streets silent and deserted. Then, he spotted a German machine gun nest, which the crew was sleeping. He promptly attacked and eliminated them. He then found the German scout car and forced one of the Germans, who he had captured, to drive through the streets with the lights on, flying a white flag. And for several hours, Major moved through the streets in this manner, shooting at any target he could find, making an impression that a large Canadian force had arrived. Now, by a stroke of luck, Private Major came across the head of local resistance Fritz Kuiper and 3 of his men. By now, the Germans appeared to have fled the city in panic. The group, therefore, returned to the town hall, and the resistance fighters brought the citizens out into the streets. The local radio station was used to announce that the town had been liberated. Now, Major was exhausted, but he had to complete his mission by bringing back the body of his comrade Wilfred Arsenal. The resistance fighters arranged for a car to transport the body back to the Canadian lines to report the results of his mission to his commanding officer, who was probably slightly surprised that the town was taken by 1 man. Now, after the conclusion of World War II, Major returned to his former job as a good old pipe fitter. That's right, that's all he did. He made pipes. Yes, what does a pipe fitter do? He also took the time to have an operation to fix his back, which had bothered him since the landmine explosion back in February of 1945. You think? Now, then the Korean War broke out.
the Canadian government raised a force to join the United Nations command in repelling the communist invasion.
Seems like it should be said that way, right? Major was called back and ended up in the Scout and Sniper Platoon of the 2nd Battalion Royal 22 Regiment of the 25th Canadian Infantry Brigade. Now, Major fought in the First Battle of Mariang San. Hill 355, nicknamed Little Gibraltar, was a strategic feature, commanding the terrain for 20 miles around. So the communists were determined to take it before the truce talks came to an agreement that would lock each side into their present positions. Now, Hill 355 was held by the 3rd U.S. Infantry Division, who linked up with Canadians on the Americans' western flank. Now, on November 22nd, the Chinese 64th Army, about 40,000 men, began their attack. Over the course of about 2 days, the Americans were pushed back from Hill 355 by elements of the Chinese 190th and 191st Divisions. Now, the 3rd U.S. Infantry Division tried to recapture the hill, but without any success. And the Chinese had moved into the nearby Hill 227, practically surrounding the Canadian forces. Now, to relieve pressure, an elite scout and sniper team led by, you guessed it, Leo Major, was brought up armed with Sten guns, because you go with what you know. Major and his 18 men, wearing running shoes so they could be silent in their movements, passed through enemy lines and crept up Hill 227 from the Chinese side. Now, at a signal, Major's men opened fire, panicking the Chinese, who were trying to understand why the enemy's fire was coming from the center of their troops instead of the outside. That's kind of confusing, but hey, it worked, right? By 12:45 a.m., Major's team had retaken the hill. However, about an hour later, the 190th and the 191st, totaling around 14,000 men, launched a counterattack. Major was ordered to retreat, but refused because that's the kind of guy he was. He found a scant cover for his men, and they held the enemy off throughout the night. At times, they were so close to Major's position that his own mortar bombs were practically falling on top of him. Major and his platoon held Hill 227 for 3 days until relieved by the U.S. 3rd Infantry Division. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy is a badass. Leo Major died in October 12th of 2008 and was buried at the Last Post Fund National Field of Honor in Pointe Claire, Quebec. He's survived by Pauline Delacroix, his wife of 57 years, 4 children and 5 grandchildren, and to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the victory in Europe, Canadian Post issued a stamp in honor of Leo Major. That stamp, called the One-Eyed Ghost, came out April 29th, 2020. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to say it, but I will because it's the name of the show. Leo Sayer is definitely 100% a badass. Remember, support GunsInThe701.com with our shows, including 701 Nation and more. Make sure you check them out at our website and on all your social media platforms. And if you get a chance to go to our website and maybe pick up some cool t-shirts or merch, or even check out, of course, how you can just donate to us through the barcode, we'd love that because, podcasting ain't as cheap as everybody says it is. GunsInThe701.com. I'm Mike Kelly.
All right. That was great. You know what? I remember that one, Mike, but it was good to see it again.
It was good. It's been a while. We've got 20 of them now, and I've just been so busy that it's hard to get them going, but I'm seriously going to have to take vacation days in order to get some more produced up. But yeah.
Out there. So, all right, Leo Major, badass of the week. And I tell you, it's not because Mike don't have ideas. We've got a lot of them. We were talking about a lot of them here just before we started the show. It is a time thing, and we understand because you took a good position. It was a raise up, so that's good.
There you go.
So, all right, so it sounds good. So before we go on here, I've got a happy ending of the week. I want to throw these out here. Coyote hunts are coming up. I've been out of that world for a while. We used to do a pretty big one over here in Watauga, but we got one coming up this weekend. Actually, there's a couple of them. The Dakota Predator Hunters, they're presenting the 2nd annual Mike Anderson Memorial Hunt, December 6th and 7th. Entry fees are $200 or $300. If you want to see the details of them, it's $100 to the Regent Fire Department, $50 for the big dog, 100% payback, $20 for the small dog, 100% payback, $20 for the big dog, 100% payback. I thought, $50 for the big dog, for the big 2. All right, I misspoke that. And then $5 for the lucky weight, lucky time, $5 for lucky time. So they got a lot of things they're doing. First place prize is $1,000 cash. Second, $750. 3rd is there's 2 of those going to be at $250 gift cards to Dakota Rifle Company. So glad to see that. They got some good local guys that are on board with that. And you can look up the rest of it if you want these. I'll try to get these up on our X and our Facebook pages so you can see them. But the rules meeting is at 6:30 Mountain Time at the Regent Legion, and that is on December 6th. So that's coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. 2-person teams, 1-day tournament. And it basically say a $200 team, individual entries will be accepted, but they are responsible for half the entry and the full side pot total for all categories entered. They got some rules there. And 1-day hunt. So the hunt takes place on the 7th. Check-in is at 6:30 p.m. no later. I know how that goes. How I used to do it is I'd ask everybody to either set their watch back then. Some people had phones. That's been many years. To our official time, and it was always the one at Watauga, Dakota Countryside Inn, and we went from there, and we had a lot of great times. The hunt rules are the heaviest 5 coyotes. That's how they're doing it, and they've got some ways that they're going to break those ties if needed. So that's one of them happening. Here's one a little closer to home. Here, this is Shields Bar. That's going to be taking place December 6th and 7th. Calcutta starts at 8 p.m. Central Time. Registration December 6th, 6 p.m. Central, $100 per team. Thermal and day hunts, 2-man teams. Got the Calcutta Big Dog winner to receive a rifle in memory of Sonny Sandquist. And I'm going to have to turn off my caption here so that I can read the rest of this. I apologize. I didn't think that was going to be covered up. We got the Glenn Baum Bame, I think, 701-422-3412. Jake Luger, 701-426-7455. Shields Bar, 701-422-3325. And Andy Wirt, 701-321-2013. So there you go, guys. That is the 2 coyote hunts that I have information on. If you have, I've kind of decided, if you have these coyote hunts that you know about are going to be doing, feel free to email them at guns@gunsandthe701.com. That's the easiest way to do it. guns@gunsandthe701.com. And we will definitely put them on here for you and let everybody know. I'm actually going to try to do a little, maybe a tournament or 2 this year. I haven't done one in years, and I just feel like doing one. So see if we can't get that to happen. I will tell you this, that our place right now for next weekend has already been asked to hunt, and I already give permission to a team. So sorry, but it's already taken. I'm sure that if you ask around here, I can give you some names if you want to hunt that hunt and you need a place to hunt. I'm sure there's neighbors around here that'll let you kill coyotes, because I don't think that's a problem anywhere, Mike, getting to kill coyotes.
No.
So keep that in mind. So there we go. We've got the coyote hunts listed. JD says another good one, Mike. Great job. Yeah. Like I said, that was a while back on that particular badass.
I've actually gotten better. I'll admit that. I mean, it's like
it's kind of fun to go back. It's like I've watched some of our first episodes here that we did, and we're definitely better. So, alrighty, I have the happy ending of the week, and I've got to get that loaded back up here somehow. Our video that I used to do, because it was always great. So we have, this comes from California. I will tell you, I've got one for Friday that comes from Nebraska, but I'm going to save that for Friday because it's a little more local. 70-year-old man, his name is only identified as Robert. He was forced to defend his family during a break-in in the early Sunday morning at his business that he manages on Folsom Boulevard. The incident left the intruder dead, but Robert and his 2 grandsons, ages 4 and 14, were unharmed. That's the important part of the story right there. His grandsons were not harmed in any way. The Sacramento County's Sheriff's Office said it occurred about 1:15 a.m. How come it's always an a.m. morning? Anyway, maybe they need curfews, right? Oh, that's right. They don't work either because criminals don't follow rules.
Oh, yeah. Forget that sometimes.
The suspect broke through the glass door of the business. But wait, isn't it illegal to break into a business?
He's got a rolling count. Yeah, there you go.
I guess something wrong here, right? Anyway, attempted to access the back living area where Robert, who was asleep in the back room with his grandson, was alerted by the older child, and he shook his grandpa. Says, "Papa, wake up!" That's how it's described. There's somebody breaking in. Moments later, the situation turned. Imagine that. She says, all of a sudden, the guy kicked in the door. That was what Robert said. Boom and boom. It was that quick, Robert said. As the intruder advanced on him, despite being warned, Robert fired in self-defense, fearing for his life and of his grandsons. He said, we would have been dead. He just explained if I wouldn't have gotten my gun and pulled it out, because he continued to just keep coming towards me. The suspect, described as a man in his 30s, fled but collapsed in a nearby parking lot where deputies found him. Life-saving measures were attempted, but the suspect was pronounced dead at the local hospital. The authorities confirmed that the suspect was unarmed, though. Robert believed he saw a weapon in the suspect's hand during the chaotic moments of the break-in. Well, boo! You know what? Break in illegally, again, illegal action.
Through glass.
Through glass, and really, evidently, he must have been threatening enough that this guy feared for his life. So, make stupid decisions, get stupid prizes, right? The Sacramento County Sheriff, Sergeant Amar Gandhi, stated that the shooting would be investigated as a homicide, which I covered that here the other day on, I think it was on Dakota Morning, where I said, remember, when you're self-defense, you have to be aware of this. I'm sure Dan would back this up. Even if it's self-defense and it's justified, especially under current stand your ground laws or whatever you might have in your state, it's always going to be investigated as a homicide, because that's what it is. And they're going to look to see if there's any other things that need to be looked at. But 9 times out of 10, if you were justified in doing it and you had every right to do it, you're probably not going to be charged. But always don't be afraid that you might even be arrested, honestly. I know a couple classes I took on that part of concealed carry and self-defense. There was a whole classroom seminar on what will happen and what most likely will happen, and you probably will be arrested. And I guess I don't have any issue with that, because if you truly do it in self-defense, they might not arrest you and take you to jail, but they're definitely going to detain you, possibly, maybe even handcuff you or put you in they got to find out what happened, right? Otherwise, people probably go around shooting everybody. Go, no, self-defense, But anyway, so
definitely ask for a lawyer. That's the first thing you do. Don't talk to anybody.
I do not volunteer information or anything. No. That's just for my own personal safety, really. And then it's not a story that's a he said, she said type thing. So, anyway, the sergeant said that the shooting being investigated as a homicide. Robert cooperated fully and is not expected to face charges. Gandhi praised the restraint and the decisive action by Robert during the incident. That's kind of interesting in California, isn't it? You actually had the deputy sergeant that actually thought that he did a good job and praised him for it. And so anyway, that is our happy ending. I thought it was a good one because it ended in a good result. Nobody was hurt except the piece of crap that broke in and was a criminal. He has assumed the room temperature now, and
he is now a former criminal.
A former criminal.
He is reformed.
He is reformed in one way or another.
You got to look at that. So
yeah, absolutely. So that is my happy ending of the week, and
there we go.
I like those stories. Yeah. So, all right.
Once again, we got 701 Nation coming up tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. You got the info on that?
No, but I know we got Jamie's got some new videos and stuff, and he's got some much stuff to talk about.
So Jamie's got again 8 p.m. Central, episode 27, and it'll be on all these outlets just where you're listening tonight. It's going to be the enduring future of the 5.56 and 223 cartridges, and I know what this is about. There's been a lot of talk about whether that's going to be replaced as far as our military's firearm. But hey, tune in. Jamie's going to have some great insight on that. He also identifying a mature muley buck. There we go. That's a good topic.
That is a good
and
one.
I know we've had some discussion about that, off and on, and it's a great subject. I can tell you right now, especially with all the muleys around here now, like you noticed and you pointed out, there's a ton of mule deer around here.
Oh yeah.
I saw one good one on the place, but he's young. Okay. And do you take that buck? I'm sure that's going to come up tomorrow night. And I know we've had a lot of discussions. Depends on where you're hunting and how much time. If you're there for a weekend or 3 days or 4 days, that's going to definitely make your decision different, right? Then where I live here, I see these bucks. I know what they're doing. I kind of know their age. I'm not going to take that buck or let anybody else take it because it's pretty safe here. So, that's one of them, it's always the unique situation as to whether you take that buck or not. The third one he's got on here is Wyoming coyotes and badgers will team up to hunt prairie dogs. That sounds like it's going to be a good showing. And then, of course, the happy ending of the week. 701 along with Guns in the 701 is powered by Lauer Auto Repair, Bismarck, North Dakota. BloodlineKinetics.com. MandanSportingGoods.com, and they have moved. Got a brand new address. Go check out Brandon's store. It is great. You're going to love it. HNHGunshop.com. They're moving as well, and they're going to be behind for you guys in Mandan and Bismarck. Over in Bismarck, they're going to be just straight north pretty much. I saw it the other day, and I'm sure that's their building with the grand opening soon, right north of Wendy's on the expressway.
There you go.
Go check them out. And then, of course, we have littleangrymanarms.com. Check out the website. Talk to John. I'm telling you, I can't think of a better Christmas gift right now than a suppressor. So give your wives the hint. Go ahead and they maybe just get you a gift certificate so you can go pick it out. But if you're in South Dakota, go down there, get a hold of John at littleangrymanarms.com, and he'll get you set up. So there we have it. Check us out on all our platforms, Twitter, Fascist-book. Again, GAT701 goes live in January because I know where I'm not doing any shows in December anymore. So check it out, follow it, like it, share it, get your friends and invite them, and we'll grow that channel. You realize we lost over 2,000 people. I think it was right around 2,200 on our page when they took us down. So let's just rebuild and move on, right?
Yep, that's all you can do.
All right, that's all I have, unless you got anything you wanted to add for tonight.
Well, no, I've got a couple of things. One here in Mitchell, we have got the Christmas for dinner coming up at the Masonic Lodge, where I cook for, last year for 800 people. We serve for free, all on Christmas Day between 11 and 1. We always take great volunteers to make it all work. We deliver about 400 meals. We have about 400 people come in to have dinner, because no one should have dinner on Christmas alone. So we always like to share a little camaraderie at the Mitchell Masonic Hall with that one. So that's all happening. Plus, coming up at the end of the month on New Year's Eve, we have the dueling pianos at the Masonic Hall, fundraiser for our hall, and we're going to have them just duets, and it's going to be a good one. So
I've actually seen there's actually two groups of those. One in South Dakota, one in North. I've seen them both. It's actually pretty entertaining, honestly.
They're pretty fun. So it's gonna be a good
time.
I'm
gonna let everybody know this one here. If you know, I'm not gonna say what it is. You guys know what this is. We are almost sold out, and then we'll draw for that. So if you know, you know, right? Get a hold of me. If you did it early on and I forgot, my apologies. Just email me at guns@gunsinthe701.com, and we'll set you up with what you need. Got you. We got you covered, Mike. So yeah, I think when I counted, when I entered everything in, I think there's 45 left is all.
Yep, there you go.
I know David has a couple, I think, yet up there, and I think Jamie has a couple. There's not many left, anyway, is what I'm getting at. So yeah, let's get them done, and I think next year we're gonna have something pretty cool.
Yep, we're gonna try.
All right, with that, everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We cannot do this without you. And I can't stress that enough. Like you said, Mike, this isn't free. It's not. There is a cost associated, but hey, we're happy to be doing it. And again, Friday morning, 7:15 Mountain in the AM, 8:15 in the Central Time Zone. Mitchell in the morning. I'll be on with Todd on KFYR 550. I know we're going to talk about a Nebraska happy ending. I have a story from there, and I've been wanting to do this fastest caliber thing. It's moving at a mile per second, so I think we might talk about that. We'll see.
There you go.
I haven't decided. I think it might be something better for a show on Wednesday night, or even maybe we team up with Jamie and talk about that, because it's a neat caliber, 17 by 5.56, so it's cruising. It's cruising. So I'm looking forward to talking about it, and maybe we'll see if Todd wants to talk about it, but we got a ton of things to talk about. I'm pretty sure we'll hit on that North Dakota state firearm, the official state firearm, as far as a rifle goes as well.
Sounds great.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend. I got birthdays to celebrate. My son, he's turning 18. My mother-in-law is turning 80 this weekend. So, yeah, we got a busy weekend ahead of us from here on out. So Mike, thanks again. Thanks everybody
you.
else. Keep your powder dry. Keep your freedom rods really handy. Eat some meat, drink some milk, and wear some fur. Nothing else, just to trigger all of those liberals. Thanks for tuning in.